branching function. There's a single input, but then we have a top, middle, and bottom output. And so only one of these execution pins will be taken. You can have multiple execution pins kind of going in different directions. And so you can do the same thing in code. So if we create a UFunction, and what you have to do is basically set an output parameter, so a mutable reference, and that'll be an enum that defines how many execution pins it's going to go out. So I'll just type this before I create the enum, but we'll say branching function, and I'll call it EFlowENUM, or EFlowExecution, and then we'll make that an out. And then just for clarity, we'll make an input parameter, and then we will make an output parameter. And so this EFlowExecution doesn't exist yet. But before that, what we need to do is tell the compiler that this enum is not actually an out parameter, but it defines the execution pins. And so the way you do that is by saying meta equals ExpandEnumAsExecs, and then you tell it the name of the enum, which is outflow. So right now we haven't defined this enum, so let's do that. We'll scroll to the top, and we'll create a UENUM, and we'll give it the name. And I'll just give it a couple values, so top, middle, bottom. So now we define this UENUM that will act as our flow for this branching function. So let's make sure we got our parentheses correct. And so this looks correct. UFunction, blueprint callable, meta, ExpandEnumAsExecs, outflow. And let's create a body for this. And we'll just make some garbage logic. So if it's 0, outflow is equal to, we'll say top, and we'll say the out value is equal to 1. I'm just making this up. And so if it is 1, we'll say middle, set that to 2, and then a kind of catch-all case, we'll say outflow is equal to bottom. And so now if we compile this, we can see what it looks like in Blueprint. So if we go to the branching function, now you can see that the input there's a single input, but then we have a top, middle, and bottom output. And so only one of these execution pins will be taken. So we could print potentially from each one of these. And we can hook this up to begin play. We will drop a breakpoint on that. And if we play, so we hit this, and the value we gave it was 0. So if we look in here, 0 corresponds to the top execution. And so it will only go to the top, it will not go to the bottom. Just to prove it to you, let's name these top, middle, bottom. And the value this time, we will set it to be 100. Compile that, save, play. So now we've hit our breakpoint. We're going to not go to the top, we're not going to the middle, we're only going to the bottom. So I'll step over, and we went straight to the bottom. And so that's how you create these branching functions that kind of behave like multiple execution pin macros, but they are not macros, they are an actual function that just has different output pins. So it can be useful for providing values where you can specify if the value is valid, take the top one, if not valid, go to the bottom one, those kind of things. We will continue looking more UFunctions and further videos.